Flash was originally designed for vector graphics, and it has many tools for making and manipulating vector graphics, and they keep getting better. It has very limited or actually no tools for bitmap graphics. One of the things we can do in Flash is to convert bitmaps to vectors, and then we can take advantage of all the vector tools. So let's see how that's done. Here are two examples that contain bitmap graphics, and the one on the right is the one we'll complete with this exercise. And the bitmap graphics were converted into vectors for the bus and the car. The house is still staying as a bitmap graphic, and by converting them into vectors we were able to find fills and strokes, and in the case of the car and the bus we selected the fills for the windows and the background edges, and we just simply deleted them. So let's see how this is done. So we'll close these two finished examples, and we'll start by opening a prepared file, the start file, and let's take a quick review. On the scene 1 timeline we have 3 layers. 2 of them do not have anything on it for the bus and the car. The house layer currently contains a bitmap graphic, and it's the bitmap of the house.gif that was imported. If we take a look at the library, we see the house.gif bitmap asset, and there's also imported a JPEG, which is this car, and a 32-bit ping or PNG file, which Flash automatically creates a Flash graphics asset, and then it's been renamed here, so we're all set to take advantage of these. And we'll start with the car, so let's select the car layer, and there's only one keyframe here, and we'll come into the library and we'll take the car JPEG and drag it to the stage. And so we can see that this is a bitmap graphic by looking at the properties. It's a bitmap and does not have a background that we can see through. And so what we like to do is to convert it into vectors. Now we don't want to do it on scene 1 on the stage, although we could. It just creates an item that we can't reuse. So I'm going to right mouse click over this and choose convert to symbol, and it will be a movie clip symbol. We'll just call it car as vectors and choose OK. We'll just edit it in place, so I'll right mouse click over this and choose edit in place. So this way we can see the timeline that it's connected to in the background. And so now we are actually editing car as vectors. And the next thing I'd like to do is to convert this from a bitmap. If we take a look at the properties, we can see that this is a bitmap that's inside of this movie clip. And so where we go is we go to Modify, Bitmap on the main menu, and choose Trace Bitmap. And then there's a dialog here that has a lot of mathematical and statistical numbers to work with, and you'll need to work with these depending on your bitmap. For most bitmaps we can just go with the defaults, and it just depends on how many shapes and strokes you might get depending on the figures you choose here. And we'll just choose OK, and we'll deselect, and then we'll come back and start clicking on the timeline, and we'll notice that we now have shapes. If we look at the property, it will say shape as we click on various items. Once in a while you might find a stroke, but often you'll find shapes depending on exactly what you have in the original bitmap. And so these shapes are independently selectable. I'm just going to select the fills, click, and then shift click to get the fills for the blue color of the car's body. And I'll come over here to the fill tool, and we'll choose a different color. Let's make it red, and now the body of the car is red. So we have some ability to change the aspects of our vectors like we normally would. And I'll just undo that. I'm going to use the undo key, and I'll go back to the selection tool with the letter V, and you'll notice that I can select the white area, and that's what we want to remove. So in this case we'll take advantage of these vectors and we'll just delete these. I'll just use the delete key. Sometimes you may need to add vectors on additional layers, because as you start pulling things off, deleting things, or changing things, you'll find that you'll need to do some work, typical vector work. It looks like we got rid of all the backgrounds that surround this car. So we'll go back to scene 1, and now you can actually see the house behind the car. And what I want to do is resize this, so I'll use the Q key to bring up the free transform tool, and I'm going to bring this down to a rather small size. And on the same layer, just temporarily, I'm going to go back to the library and go to the car JPEG and bring that onto the stage. And of course we see that it's got a background, but let me reduce it in size. And if you take a close look at these two, what you'll notice is that the JPEG, when it was reduced in size, has the typical effect of any kind of a bitmap graphic where the pixels have to be recalculated based on the colors that are nearby to come up with changes. Vectors are worked differently. Flash just redraws the vector, and so size changes has very little difference in terms of the degradation of the look of it. And this goes in both directions, making it larger or smaller. Let's remove the bitmap version from our timeline. Maybe we'll make the car a little bigger. I'll go back to the free transform tool and hold the shift key down, and I'll just bring this in front of the house. And this will continue on part 2 of our video.